G'day folks, here's my review of Decennial Deliration and also my merch haul from assorted places in Melbourne. G'day folks, Jeff here, welcome back to the channel. This is a somewhat piss-weak review of an excellent gig that I went to in Melbourne last weekend, Decennial Deliration, which was a 2-day festival at the Tote. This is only a sort of half-assed review, as I said. I got footage of a couple of bands that sounds pretty friggin' blown out and terrible, so yeah, I'll post them anyway, but yeah, I didn't really take any notes, I just had a grand time, but it was bloody good, so, but yeah, the overall trip was, my wife and I went down just for, not quite a week. It was one of those sort of fly by the seat of your pants. We booked a few places, but yeah, we just let it go and saw what happened. So yeah, on the way down, we stopped at Beechworth, which is a town just over the New South Wales Victorian border in Victoria. It's a nice little old gold rush town, really beautiful place. We've stayed there maybe a year ago when we went to a friend's birthday party, and yeah, it's a lovely place. So I managed to go to the Bridge Road beer factory, well, brewery, I suppose you could call it. It's a very good beer that is pretty well available in Australia. They make some damn fine ones. I had a very tasty pizza and about 3 or 4 beers there. Unfortunately, it was possibly a good thing for the next day, but I wasn't quite within walking distance. Well, or else I'm just a lazy bastard. So, but yeah, it was. So I didn't have too many beers, which is probably a good thing, as I said. I had a couple of. What did I have? A cream one. An Oktoberfest one and a sort of fruit salad sour one. While there, I also picked up a couple of 4-pack of these blackberry sour ones that pretty bloody tasty. I'm a big fan of sours. So yes, quite enjoyed that aspect of the trip. So yeah, then after that, chuffed off to Melbourne the next day. We went to our friends Gordon and Hilda's place in Frankston, which I'll get to at the end of the video because that's where I got a decent haul of, quality records, you could say. So yeah, we stayed out west, I think it is. I don't know, I'm terrible with geography and so on. I get lost in Melbourne in the drop of a bloody hat. So, but then eventually we drove into the city and yeah, went to the gig itself. So yeah, this was I wouldn't say hastily organised, but not the biggest tour, you could say. The 2 international bands that were coming out were Undergang from Denmark, a very good death metal band, and Miasmatic Necrosis from America. Damn fine gore grind band. I'm very happy to see them. So they'd just played in Japan at the Asakusa Death Fest, and I think Faceless Burial organised this couple of gigs, so yeah, good work. Thanks, fellas. They had actually played the Thursday night up in Brisbane. Just those 2 bands and who else? Faceless Burial and it was a local band, Cerebral Erosion as well. So that would have been bloody good, but I'm glad I went to Melbourne because there was a lot more bands playing as well. So poor Simon missed out on seeing him. They didn't play Sydney, so sorry, mate. So yeah, both nights were at the Tote, which is a legendary old venue. I've been to many a gig there in Melbourne. Probably most of my Melbourne gigs were either there or the Art House. So yeah, the first night was only 4 bands. It was on the main stage. First up was Cerebral Erosion, who are from Brisbane, I believe. Knew nothing about them. I think. Oh, actually, no. I tell a lie. I had downloaded one of their albums or demos or something or other. Yeah, pretty bloody fast. Very grindy. It was a 2-piece, just a guitarist and a drummer. The drummer had like pitch shifted mic, and the guitarist just had a normal one, just growl and scream, and all the fun stuff. It wasn't quite noisecore, but it was pretty damn fast grind. Plus with some shifted stuff as well. I really quite enjoyed them actually. That was one of the highlights because I sort of went in blind on a few of these bands. I mean, I sort of know their stuff, but I hadn't seen a few of them, so it's always fun. One thing I whinge about is the guitarist had this stupid looking headless guitar. I'm not a fan of those. I mean, he played fine. It sounded great. I shouldn't whinge. It's just me being pedantic, but it was good fun. But it was very much the Rip to Shreds style one that Mr. Lee uses. No good. It's not metal. After them, it was kind of nice, this gig, because it was just a normal gig. I mean, it was part of the festival sort of thing, you could say, but it was just 4 bands, one after the other on the same stage. So there was actually breathing room, and got to catch up with plenty of mates, which was very, very fun, actually. It was really cool to catch up with a batch of them. Made a few new friends, and yeah, excellent. I think the next band was Reaper, who's a sort of, I don't know, kind of punky, thrashy, speed metal-y kind of band. I quite like them, but I just wasn't quite in the mood for them that night. I mean, all the other bands were sort of death or grind. I mean, they still played pretty good, but it just didn't really blow me away, to tell the truth. Still killer band. I'm looking forward to getting any new material they put out, but just wasn't quite there for me that night. Faceless Burial played after that. I've seen them quite a bit of late, so yeah. I knew what to expect and was not disappointed. Crazy drumming, weird timing. I love how into it the vocalist gets. Is great stuff. So yeah, they were killer, but yeah, without a doubt, the winner of the night was Undergang. Oh, so bloody good. Sludgy Danish death metal. It's pretty raw sound, you could say, like pretty chainsawy sound. I liked it. It really stood out when they did the heavy chunky bits. It was just like, oh, yeah, that sounds bloody nice, gurgly as hell. And they got into it as well. All of them were really energetic. I think they had Julian from Fetid, and various other bands, American guy. They had him on drums. The rest of them were the usual Danish lineup, I think. I'm not sure what was going on with their usual Danish drummer, but they do seem to have a ring-in drummer pretty regularly, so maybe he just couldn't tour. But I really love the bass player as well, who I think is in Strychnos as well. He was very energetic, just kept like whacking himself in the throat. He was, into it, you could say, without a doubt. But yeah, the vocals were ridiculously gurgly and just horrendous. It was beautiful. Played a batch of songs. All their songs are bloody in Danish anyway, so I'm not going to pretend that I even know the song names. I recognise the tracks, so I'm pretty sure there was a batch off that latest EP, whose name I can't remember because it's in Danish. But yeah, they bloody ruled. Really good fun. I don't know, I think they did a slight encore sort of thing, but yeah, that was top bloody night, that's for sure. So I'll put a bit of very crappy footage of Undergang up now, because yeah, they ruled. hotel we were staying in was in Albert Park, I believe, which is, I don't know, South Melbourne somewhere or other, pretty close to the CBD, and bloody bastard to get to on many different turns and twists and so on. So we got there eventually. It was a good place to stay. There was some decent food places around. I mean, it was a pretty fancy sort of area. I mean, it was a pretty decent hotel, really. But the poor missus was going to be stuck there for a couple of days, so I thought I'd get a decent one. But yeah, it was a wealthy area, I think. Would not be cheap to live there, that's for sure. There was lots of very well-dressed, young, beautiful people around everywhere, so I quite enjoyed being that, usual curmudgeon of scuzzy-looking guy with frizzy hair and wearing tracky dacks and thongs and horrible metal shirts, looking scuzzy. It's beautiful. So I got a few good looks. It was amazing. But yeah, after that, got a nice Uber ride all the way back to the Tote, and yeah, Saturday night was both levels of the Tote. There's an upstairs room that I'd never actually seen any bands in before, so I didn't enjoy going up and down those stairs particularly, but what the hell. It was pretty warm up there as well, that's for sure. So yeah, there was 7 bands, I think, that night. So 3 upstairs and 4 downstairs on the main sort of stage. And when I say main stage, it's hardly a gigantic venue by any means. So, but it's cozy enough, I think, and bloody good sound there as well. I was friggin' deaf after the first night, so I brought along some earplugs the next night just to be on the safe side. So that certainly helped. I was catching up with a good mate Dave and his partner Irene. Well, Miserable Creature, the first band, played, so I didn't see them, no idea. Sorry, fellas, but well. They played on the main stage, I think, but then buggered off to see Hematemesis, or whatever they're called, who I could have sworn was a gore grind band at one point. They used to have pitch-shifted vocals, I'm pretty bloody certain. They don't anymore. They got a new drummer. It's no longer Brad from Superfine Happy Slide. It's the bloke from Odious and Bow, I think. I don't know his name, sorry, but pretty decent drummer. Yeah, they're just sort of more normal grind now, so there's no pitch-shifted vocals. I think the music still sounded pretty bloody similar, and yeah, just good, catchy, fast grind. Didn't muck around, no probs. Anything I didn't like about the 2 venues is the bands were pretty much back-to-back. And I mean, it's really not a far walk. It's like, a minute walk to the other venue, but the problem is the upstairs area has it's only got a capacity of like 98 or something or other like that. So it was a bit, packed at times. So I did actually miss out on a few of the main stage bands because I had to leave slightly early just to make sure I could actually see the next band upstairs, which was slightly irritating. I think I missed a rather good Contaminated cover, which is a bugger. So, but yeah, it still worked pretty well. I mean, what was the next band? Vile Apparition I saw were next on the main stage. They were bloody killer. That was one of the bands I hadn't seen before. I've, got a few songs on my computer there, but not super familiar with them. They're kind of slightly technical death metal, pretty much, you could say. Certainly not widdly-diddly wanketry, but yeah, it wasn't just caveman sort of style. It was, well done. Solos here and there, and they were bloody killer, actually. I really quite enjoyed them. I think I watched most of them, but then, went outside for a bit of fresh air in the smoking section. But yeah, I was very happy to see them because I had heard pretty bloody good things about them. I think, I did chuff off before the end of them upstairs to see Carcinoid because I was very keen to see them. Quality, very good quality Melbourne death metal band. You'd be familiar with them if you watch this channel at all. I've got pretty much all their stuff. I'm just missing like one split, I think, which I've got to get. They were bloody awesome. I did get a bit of footage of them that I'll put on after this, but yeah, they were in fine form. It's probably the best I've seen them, I reckon. Like upstairs there's a small stage. The room's kind of like L-shaped a bit, so there's still like a mosh pit area in front of it. I was just on one side, right, sort of not quite directly in front of the PA, so I was kind of hoping the sound on my camera had come out a bit better, but it's a bit average. And as you may have noticed, I decided, I don't know, my last video I did, there was a heap of background sound. I don't know if the little mic that I've got on top of my camera is not working very well anymore, so here we go. Let's see how this sounds. So give give us some feedback in the comments if you like on see whether this sounds a bit better. I did a test recording before and it seemed to get rid of a lot of background crap. So if I ever do another heavy metallurgy live stream one, hopefully you might actually be able to hear me properly this time without horrible fan noises and all the crap that was going on. So hopefully this, I can see the waveform. It looks pretty decent. So hopefully I can manage to edit this and successfully. We'll see. But yeah, Carcinoid, tough as hell. They even got our previous singer Josh up on stage. I don't know if he normally lived somewhere else and was just in town, or I'm not quite sure why he left in the first place, but they got him up and they did actually one of the songs off the newer EP that I suppose he's actually on that, so that makes sense. So yeah, they had both singers going at once, which was bloody cool. It was really good. But yeah, the crowd were getting into it, band were getting into it. It was just all around friggin' killer. I was very happy to see them. Next downstairs was Contaminated, another very killer Melbourne death metal band who sounded tough as hell. It's always fun seeing Christoph blasting away on drums, but yeah, they sounded bloody bonza. Again, I think I missed the end of them because I had to run back upstairs because I wanted to make sure I had a spot for Gutless. Didn't get standing around on the stairwell like some people had to. So yeah, I missed the end of their set, which I believe had Paulo from Miasmatic Necrosis doing guest vocals on a Hemdale cover. I'm not sure what song they played because I don't know if they've covered one before. I know Roscop used to cover Delicious Gory Fun, or one of the faster ones. So yeah, I'm very sad about that, partly for the missing Paulo. Just I've seen a bit of footage of him dancing stylishly, but yeah, that would have been bloody cool. But yeah, overall, Contaminated, tough as hell. I think they played one new song that sounded bloody nice, but yeah, just very powerful death metal. Loved it. Gutless were on upstairs, and by then my poor feet were pegging it, as were my knees. So when I got up there a little early, I thought, I'll just get a pint of something and sit at the bar for a while. And then I thought, let's see how the band sounds while sitting down. Sounds pretty bloody good. Hey, guess where I'm sitting for the whole set. So yeah, rested the poor footsies. Didn't really see much of the band, but hey, probably look like four guys with long hair banging away at instruments, so who gives a crap? I could hear it perfectly well. It was good. It was quite amusing, actually. I could see where the stairwell leading up from downstairs, and there was people like stuck in the queue. It was a sort of one in, one out setup, which was quite amusing to watch. Yeah, the poor people were all keen to get up, and yeah, I watched a few people sort of taunt them and pretend like they were going down. Oh no, I'm just going to the toilet. I think eventually it got cleared by the end of the sets. But yeah, Gutless they sounded. I don't know what they look like, but they sounded bloody cool. They're just pretty straight death metal sort of stuff, like kind of your. I wouldn't quite say Cannibal Corpsey, but straightforward death metal. Nothing too sludgy or super blasty or anything like that. Just good catchy death metal. I think they got a new album coming out shortly on Dark Descent maybe, and Masako. So yeah, I was happy to hear them for the first time, and sounded bloody cool upstairs. Like the upstairs sound was really good as well, so they know what they're doing there. But yes, after them, I quickly skedaddled downstairs. Possibly, I think it might have just been just before the end of them, just so I didn't get rushed by people downstairs running to see Miasmatic Necrosis, who then took a while to set up anyway. But yeah, they were amazing. Holy crap. It was a highlight of the whole weekend for me by far. That was amazing set there. Gore grind band from, I don't know, kind of New York and Baltimore, I think. It's the singer Evans, actually, one of the organisers of MDF, and I think he's in several other bands. And yeah, it's got like Paulo from BioLeech and Hematemesis and Buckshot Facelift and various other dudes as well from BioLeech and various other bands. And they were on fire. Holy crap. It was all red lighting, no flashing lights or anything. It was just red. It looked eerie as hell. Perfect sound. The drummer was tight as hell. And yeah, just total gore grind. Very, very regurgitate. If you know what regurgitate sound like, that's pretty much what they sound like if you haven't already heard them. Highly recommend getting this charming album that I'll put a picture of up, because yeah, that's pretty much all they got, I think. I don't know if they even have a demo, but they were incredible. It was so bloody good. Crowd were getting into it because it was nice and dark. I think the mosh got a little more sort of, pushy and I wouldn't say violent, but just get into it. And it was good to see, because not every band seemed to get a gigantic sort of mosh going. I was kind of a bit surprised, actually. But, I mean, there was a great crowd response to all the bands, but I don't know, I just kind of pictured a bit more movement. But for them, it's bloody killer. And it was quite amusing. There was no talking to the crowd at all. They had 3 mics set up, so like Evan was just a singer. He obviously had a mic, and the guitarist and Paulo and the bass player both had mics as well, all pitch shifted. So I'm guessing they just couldn't turn them off and talk to the crowd or anything like that, or maybe that was just the sort of style they go for. So they just blasted through, would have played for like at least half an hour, probably 40 minutes, I reckon. It's pretty long for a grind band, and then finished, and the crowd got the one more song chant going, and poor Paulo came out and said, we don't have any more songs. Did hear a few people yell for play him again, who cares? Because yeah, that was amazing. I've seen a lot of gore grind bands over the years, legendary Melbourne ones, and that was equivalent to some of the damn fine Melbourne ones, your Garbage Guts and The Day Everything Became Nothing and Roscops of the world. That was spot on. I was very happy with that. So all in all, friggin' fun, that's for sure. I did manage to buy a bit of merch. I mean, there was like Contaminated and Carcinoid merch, of which I had most of or didn't want, and a few other bands as well. But yeah, all I really picked up was an Undergang shirt, one for me and one for Simon from Explosive Action, because poor chap couldn't get there. There's the dates on the back. I also got him a Miasmatic Necrosis shirt. I didn't actually get one for myself because they weren't quite big enough, unfortunately. Nice little Undergang sticker and miscellaneous Miasmatic Necrosis eyeball sticker. And I also got a nice Vault Deprogrammer sticker from good old Pete. Thanks, mate. It's very good to hang out with you. There was another gig on... Oh, yeah. I'll put a bit of footage up now of Miasmatic Necrosis. It'll sound horrible, but yeah, enjoy. There was another gig on the Monday night. There was Undergang played with Doubled Over, friggin' killer band that I kind of wish we'd gotten around to organising to see, but yeah, I missed that one unfortunately. I think they'd wanted Miasmatic Necrosis, but they'd already booked their tickets home unfortunately before that was organised. Yeah, it's a bugger, but yeah, what are you going to do? So all in all, friggin' excellent gig. I was deaf as hell afterwards, sore legs and so on, but it was worth it. It was really good fun. And yeah, just catching up with mates was just gold. Really, really good time. I did enjoy the first night more because there was more sort of, spare time in between bands. But yeah, all in all, friggin' excellent night. All right, so on the Friday, when we were out in Frankston, which is, sort of west part of Melbourne, I had a grand old time hanging out with Gordo and Hilda, and while the missus and I were driving around, managed to see, it was like a black kind of SUV, kind of ute with a cover sort of thing over it, with Burzum number plates. Well, they looked official. Maybe they're not. I don't know. We were driving behind it for a while. I'm very sad or regretted for the rest of my life that I didn't get a photo of that or ask the wife to take one. A regret, that's for sure. I was hoping to pull up behind them at a traffic light, but no such luck. Yeah, I assume you're allowed to do that in Australia. Maybe the Victoria Motor Registry doesn't realise that, but I mean, didn't have like swastikas all over the car or anything. You had like Motorhead, giant Motorhead sticker and an Unleashed one. I saw a Bone Marrow one, which is like Queensland kind of death metal band. So I had heaps of stickers and all over it. They were keen. So that was good to see just in the wild. But while we were there, I dragged Gordo out to go record hunting, and because I'd sort of looked it up on Google Maps, found a few places. I noticed that there was about 3 record places all in the one spot. So I thought, this must be a little mall or something or other. So we chuffed off to there. It was in something Heights. Yeah, anyway. And essentially it was inside was like a large kind of warehousey kind of thing, but inside was pretty much an inside trash and treasure. So there was a heap of different stalls selling all sorts of shit, not just records or anything metal related. Most of it was, like fashion or useless little knickknacks or paintings or, all sorts really. It's just a giant marketplace. It was one of those ones where I think the owners just leave their stall there with, stickers on it, and so you just buy it all from the front counter and, their sticker gets scanned in and they get the $40 or whatever that you just spent. So worked pretty well, actually. So in other words, didn't have a million people going, oh, would you like to buy this? And so we just sort of wandered around. There was some pretty friggin' tempting stuff. I saw one place had, kind of like figures and stuff. I saw this, what is it, Lander Craft or something from Aliens, the movie Aliens. I was pretty tempted by that, but it was, like $200 or something ridiculous. So, yeah, that wasn't happening. There was some pretty tacky Santa stuff that, I gaggingly asked the wife if she wanted any over text, and she went, oh, yeah, the elf. But, yeah, sorry, love, I'd already walked on. I did find one other stall as well that was selling gas masks and like a old Russian like helmet. Fortunately, they weren't cheap. I was pretty friggin' tempted. I was, get a stupid gas mask put on the shelf behind just for the fun of it. But they even had one that looked almost the same as that. I think it's on the Suffer the Children 12-inch that Napalm Death put out. I got a T-shirt of it somewhere, like very old. My original Napalm Death shirt is like this sort of coloured gas mask. They had exactly that one there. I was like, but it was, $80 or something ridiculous. Yeah, I kind of regret not buying one of those now, but anyway. What I did find, though, I mean, there was a few record stalls there that had, brand spanking reissues of stuff that, I would have bought something if I saw something I needed, like a new release or something, but yeah, most of it was pretty average. Until I found one stall. I was just wandering past, because there's a lot of stalls. This one wasn't selling just records. It was all sorts of stuff, just obviously someone just selling all their stuff. Well, not all their stuff, but odds and sods. There was, like racing hats, all sorts of stuff. And yeah, I saw this just sitting on a table actually with an AC/DC album as well. I was like, oh yeah, let's have a look at that. It's 18 bucks. Thought, why not? I've never owned any Halloween. I have, like, probably tape somewhere of Keeper Part 1 or something or other. I've never even had this album. This is the Noise International original press, from what I can tell. There's no barcode on it. This is it's probably the only, I think there's only one or two other non-Aussie releases out of this batch that I got. It was pretty good, actually. This is back when Kai was singing. Yeah, I quite enjoy this. It's not quite what I expected. I don't know. I don't know why I've never gotten into that band, but maybe it's not quite heavy enough for my liking. So, yeah, 18 bucks, why not? And then while I'm standing there looking at that, and I was going to buy the AC/DC anyway, just because it was the only other thing I could see, and then look down on a shelf below, just stashed there, barely in view. I was like, oh, a pile of records. Hey, what do we got there? Yeah, it was, as I said, mostly Australian releases. I think only one other one was a US print. So, yeah, all worth $18 each. So I was like, okay, why the hell not? I did check them. I mean, they're obviously, 40s. These are pretty much all early 80s sort of releases. So, 40-something years old, for God's sake. So they ain't in pristine. They're not near mint or anything like that, but in reasonable nick. So next up, I grabbed this one just for the hell of it, because I've never had an Accept album either for some reason. It's good old Balls to the Wall. And pretty good nick. Old Jets record and video sticker on the back. So I assume that was a Melbourne shop. I've no idea, never heard of them. As I said, records in, I don't know if you can see that for shit anyway, but yeah, it's dirty as buggery. I'll need to give these a clean at some stage, I think. So, yeah, happy with that one. But then the hits kept coming. Yep. I, for some reason, have very little Judas Priest on record. Well, I didn't until now, that's for sure. I had, like, Painkiller reissue. I mean, I got half of these on CD, but, yeah, Aussie press of, Stained Class. No worries, very happy with that. Aussie press of Sin After Sin, which I've never liked that cover art. I don't know why. It's just boring. I don't know. The back's kind of cool. It's not bad. So yeah, this is another, this is the US press. This is the Pittman one based on the Matrix on it, apparently. I don't know. I was a bastard putting these on. Actually, it was pretty easy for most of them because they were the Aussie pressings, but Discogs for stuff like this has got, there's a lot of versions of this bloody album. There's a lot of American versions of this album as well, so it took quite a while to track it down. The Priest keeps coming. Got British Steel, the Aussie one with the sticker, because it's got Breaking the Law and Living After Midnight, so freaking happy. I mean, these are all black vinyl. Most of them have no inner sleeve either, I don't think, so maybe actually Halloween had one. Let me show you that. So Halloween had lyrics, and I always love all the noise releases, beautiful stuff. And yeah, of course, you had more Priest. Why not? What the hell? This one I did definitely have on CD, as I did with British Steel, I think. So, nothing special about them. And again, $18. They're probably not worth a giant amount more than that, but fine by me. It's just kind of better having the Aussie press versions as well, just because I'm Australian. Why not? Next one, there was an instant. I mean, I was sort of umming and ahhing about some of these, but I think the Priest ones, I just went, oh yeah, bugger it, I'm getting them all. And this one, definitely getting that one. Killers, Aussie, 1981 pressing, I think. This one has Women in Uniform on it as well, which is like a bonus track because I never realised, it's a freaking Skyhawk song. I don't know, everyone's probably screaming in the camera going, of course it is, you dickhead. But, yeah, I never realised it's like Skyhawk's old Aussie rock pop sort of band from the 70s. When, I suppose they made it into the 80s maybe, but definitely the 70s. The horror movie band, that was their big hit from my youth. And, yeah, when I listened to it, the Skyhawks version did sound familiar, and sorry, Paul, but Shirley's got a much better voice than you do. Sorry, mate. So, but yeah, very happy to have this. Again, I've got this on CD, but what the hell. Next up, I was very happy to get this. This is just a Stranger in the Strange Land 12-inch. So it's also got That Girl and Juanita on it. This one, I haven't actually played most of these, so I don't know if they're all scratched as buggery, but this one was a bit scratchy. It was a bit of character crackle, you could say. I didn't actually know the cover songs. They weren't too bad. I think That Girl is a FM cover. It's quite maidenized, and Juanita is a Marshall Fury song, apparently, but I love the first song. It's probably one of my, like Stranger in a Strange Land, the song itself is probably one of my favourite Maiden songs. So, and that's actually one of my favourite designs. I think the Summer in Time cover art sort of era of Derek Riggs, it's just, that's my favourite era, I think, of Eddie. I'm pretty sure I've still got a poster of this somewhere. This was... Even though I didn't actually own back in the day, I didn't actually own Summer in Time or this EP. I still had the poster though, because it was Maiden. What the hell? So very happy to get that one, and I do actually have this on record. A recent reissue. So this is the old Aussie press version of it. So why not? It was originally $13.99 at probably Brash's or some store. So. I always love those shots. All their stupid futuristic vehicles. Beautiful stuff. So I haven't listened to that one yet. Again, I didn't really need this, but I don't know. I'm of the era where I see something Iron Maiden and old, it's like, I'm going to buy that. Why not? There wasn't any Iron Maiden left after I left. And the second last one, Heaven and Hell, Black Sabbath. I have this on CD, but... why not? $18 for a 40-year-old record. Why the hell not? I don't think you get an inner sleeve on that one. And lastly in this stash, and also from Brash's for $14.99, and definitely one I do already own and have owned since the 80s. Kill them all. You know what it is? This is the Aussie version. So it actually has an inner sleeve, which is like, I think mine's a Canadian one maybe, or Combat, I don't know. My one is the one that shows up on Discogs for a stupid amount of money and doesn't even have the inner sleeve, whereas this one kind of does. So I actually bought this. I was thinking, I really don't need that. I was going to be nice and leave it for some, young keen metalhead to find and go, oh my God, I found a bloody ancient white version of it. Because I know the feeling because I just bloody had it. But then I realised, these ones are actually worth a bit. So if I buy this might cover the rest of them if I could bear to sell it. But now that I have one with an inner sleeve, maybe I should sell my old other one. I mean, it's battered as hell. It's certainly not near mint, that's for sure. And last but definitely not least, that was it for that stall. What did I leave? I left a couple of AC/DC albums that I kind of feel a bit slack about. I just listened to that Accept album and thought, I probably should have bought AC/DC instead. But it was like, what was it, TNT and For Those About to Rock or something or other. So they're probably valuable ones, I don't know. But I figured because these are all early 80s ones, it was probably an early 80s reissue instead of one of the cool old Albert ones with the special bloody sticker in the middle. So I didn't bother with them. What else did I leave? There was like Orgasmatron was there, which was pretty tempting, although I seem to recall only really liking the song Orgasmatron, and the album cover I was going to buy it just for that. There was like a Deep Purple album, a couple of Beatles ones. Ooh. I'll put up the name of the venue where I down the bottom, just if you're in Melbourne and you really want to go and get a couple of old AC/DC records and so on. So I don't think I left anything else too killer. There was certainly nothing heavier than those sort of bands. But then I wandered around quite on the high from that. I was pretty friggin' happy, I gotta say, with that all. Again, nothing super duper rare. There's no, friggin' really rare, oh my God, I've never seen that ever before sort of thing. This was all shit I could have bought 40 years ago. But I found another stall that had, pretty cheapish stuff. I was trying for the classic trifecta that I have of going to like secondhand record places, and this is all the tacky crap that you always see at these. My trifecta that I always try and look for is Nana Muscuri Records, Engelbert Humperdinck Records, and Kamal Records. Now, if you're not Australian, you probably don't know who the hell Kamal is. If you're British, maybe, but he's a legendary Aussie singer. He's, I think, originally from Sri Lanka. And yeah, he's just classic croonery kind of singer. And I used to see his records everywhere, like, for dirt cheap in totally secondhand and video sort of places. Of late, not. I haven't. I've even bought a couple over the years as sort of gag presents. But I would probably actually listen to one if I could find one. And so, yeah, I found a Nana record. I found a Engelbert Humperdinck. I found a ton of ABBA ones. Several ABBA ones that I think I already own. I mean, there's a million friggin' Neil Diamond albums. Jesus, that guy must have sold a few records over the years. But yeah, no Kamal. I was disappointed. If it had been $10 or less, I would have bought it for sure. But well. I mean, I don't actually want to buy Nana Muscuri or Engelbert Humperdinck records. I just like finding them. But one thing I did find for $5 though, and this will mean probably nothing to international people, but Rodney Rude Live. This is a stand-up comedian, an Australian guy who's very coarse, very rude. Well, Rodney Rude, obviously. This was $5, and yeah, I'm sure it's horrendously offensive. I'm pretty sure he might have finally retired. He was still touring like pretty recently. I remember seeing something. That's right. They banned smoking in clubs a long time ago, but I remember seeing him complaining about it. He probably had like emphysema or something from playing in so many smoky clubs. This guy used to tour a lot. So yeah, just stand-up comedian, just rough as hell. I don't know if you get an inner sleeve nut. So yeah, I look forward to listening to that, and that should be good fun. But yeah, that whole very happy with that. I did all that before the gig, so there wasn't actually any records at the gig that I didn't already own that I was going to buy, but I was tempted during the day on the Saturday to go over to Blacksound Records. It's now they now have a shop front. I've ordered through them a number of times just online, and will probably continue doing so because Melbourne's quite a drive away from here, but I was kind of keen to go because it was their first week of operation, but I was just too knackered, so sorry, Lewis, but... And yeah, they've got this stylish death metal thing a la Helvet or whatever it's called, like Euronymous' old shop. So various mates were taking photos in front of it. I'm like, oh yeah, that would be kind of cool, but yeah, next time. So yeah, I didn't really go to many other places, but I bought like 11 records for $18 each, so it was cheap anyway. But I think that was well worth it. I got to say, I was very happy with that. So yeah. Had a grand time. The gig was friggin' excellent. Wife and I had a great time just cruising around, hanging out with friends. And yeah, on the Sunday night, we went and caught up with her brother and his family in Pakenham and went to some quality eateries, including all-you-could-eat Japanese place on the Sunday night, which was very nice. The diet was not in effect in Melbourne, let's put it that way. I got another week off work as well because it's my birthday coming up and I hate working on my birthday. So, yeah, I thought, maybe I'll just have a few beers. Nothing too dramatic, but yeah. So, yeah, this was somewhat bodgy gig review / merch haul. Obviously, I won't lumber those into my next collection update because, yeah, I've already rambled about them and, yeah. You don't need me to talk about friggin' killers or something like that. So, yeah, all in all, a very good haul. I was very happy with the whole trip. So, yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Cheers.